Today we're going to look at Making Habits, Breaking Habits by Jeremy Dean. Why we do things, why we don't, and how to make any change stick. What's in it for you? Take control of your habits, both good and bad. No matter how straight edge or in control you think you are, your life is dominated by habits. The thing is, these habits can be good. They can be part of your morning routine or constitute your mannerisms during conversations. Such habits should be celebrated or even fostered, like when you want to start cooking more at home or reading more. However, not all habits are good. Many people know they should quit smoking or maybe lose a few pounds, but they don't think about quitting their more invisible habits, that is, their negative thought habits. These habits can be very dangerous. The following minutes explain what habits really are and then explain how you can take control of your habits and transform your life for the better. You will also discover why your family always sits in a certain order at dinner, how to make happy habits, and what merely trying to quit smoking does to your self-control. Idea number 1. Habits are repeated behaviors with little to no conscious intention. What happens when someone throws a ball to you? In all likelihood, you catch it before you consciously realize what's going on. This is a habit, an action repeated so frequently that it's done unconsciously. This first aspect of a habit involves automaticity, that is, not being aware of the execution of a given action, such as flicking on a light while entering a room. Also, since repetition decreases enthusiasm, the act of performing habits is emotionless. Consider your morning routine. Does it conjure up strong emotions for you? Or imagine looking upon a mountain range for hours from your office window every single day. It's wonderful and breathtaking at first, but over time the pleasure of seeing it greatly decreases. In addition to automaticity, context also defines habits because of the associations you form between your surroundings and your behavior. Remember what it was like to be a student, the freedom of almost zero obligations, and the beers you enjoyed with your friends. You may well connect the pleasures of socializing with the habit of drinking alcohol because of these early experiences. So now every time you socialize, you want to drink a beer. But how are habits actually formed? Take a look at the following. First, intentions create habits. For example, you want to have healthy white teeth, so you start brushing them regularly. Another way habits are formed is through explaining random past behavior by adding an intention later on. Say you always sit in the same place in your friend's kitchen because it was the only free spot when you first visited her. Now, however, you tell yourself it's your favorite place because the light is just right and the chair is comfy. Finally, you can combine both the intention and explanation behind your habits. Perhaps you started biking to work because you were dieting, but you continue doing it because you enjoy being out in the fresh air. Awareness of the power of the unconscious to guide and change our thinking and behavior is the first step to change. End quote. Idea number 2. Habits are omnipresent, and when they're bad, they can be very bad. What habits play a role in your life? Perhaps dieting and smoking spring to mind, but our lives are actually full of many different habits. A minimum of 1/3 of our waking life is powered by our unconscious, where we operate on autopilot, not fully cognizant of what we're doing while we're doing it. It's not surprising then to find you have many more habits than you might think. Social habits such as who sits where at the family dinner table, work routines like saying and aha during meetings, eating habits that help us sift through multitudes of food-related decisions every day, and the list goes on. Do you ever catch yourself checking your email for the 100th time only to discover that still nothing interesting has arrived in your inbox? Then you've experienced what behavioral psychologists call the partial reinforcement extinction effect. When you keep repeating the same action even without reward, simply because you're used to doing it unrewarded. Even if we get the rare reward of an interesting email, we keep robotically refreshing our inbox regardless as we're used to the frustration. But there are other habits that you can't see. Habits of thought. If they are negative in nature, these habits can be connected to mental illnesses such as depression. Whether thoughts are positive or negative depends on our appraisal of something that happens to us, and sometimes we appraise in unhealthy ways. Imagine you lost your job. If you're in the habit of perceiving yourself as powerless and culpable, you will have trouble fighting the negative emotions that unemployment entails. Another type of habit is rumination, when you think about something over and over again. Some say that retrospection can help us learn from our supposed failures, but there's a difference between reviewing your past experiences and wallowing in the misery and pain of them. Habit provides a safety zone, but it's also a kind of a cage from which escape is hard. End quote. Idea number 3. Happy habits can be created. What you might not know about habits is that even though they stem from your unconscious, you can manipulate them. This is good news indeed, especially if you want to form a new healthy habit. To do so, follow these 3 steps. Number 1. Determine your motivation. You need an overarching goal to help you overcome obstacles. To pinpoint your ultimate goal, you can employ the WOOP or WOOP method. Wish, outcome, obstacle, and plan. Start by writing your wish down, along with the best possible outcome and the obstacles you are likely to face. Say that your wish is to run daily. Your outcome might be to get in shape so you can complete a 10-kilometer run, and your obstacles will probably be harsh weather and physical discomfort. Next up, you need to plan by finding the right implementation intention and act on it. If X, then Y decisions. For example, if I enter a building, I will take the stairs. Then comes positive statements like I'll take the stairs are far more effective than I'm not taking the elevator, as self-denial reinforces the attraction of something, in this case the elevator. Next, remember to repeat your actions as repetition leads to automation. If you're unsatisfied with your habit development, try coping planning. Anticipate challenging situations for your new habit, such as heavy rain or being late for work, and find the right if-then solution. For example, if it is raining, I'll try my waterproof running gear. Finally, make your habits happy habits. One way to do this is to avoid becoming habituated to something and just going through the motions. Ironically, habituation is the anathema to happy habits. Having happy habits means switching it up. This could mean taking different routes to work in order to keep enjoying your bike rides, or techniques like savoring, where you pause and intentionally engage your senses to savor the moment, such as stopping to smell a fragrant flower. Developing a good habit will be most successful when we do it for its own sake, when it's done automatically, and when we take satisfaction in what we've achieved. End quote. Idea number 4. Breaking habits is hard, but you can do it. Nearly all of us have bad habits we want to kick. Perhaps we're overweight or want to rid ourselves of nicotine addiction. For many of us, though, it's hard to change. One survey conducted in the 1980s at the University of Scranton found that out of 213 people, 60% weren't able to stick to their New Year's resolutions. So what can we do to break free of these habits? First, recognize the habit you want to kick. The consequences of bad habits are often more obvious than the habits themselves. It's easy, for example, to recognize that you're overweight, or if you're a smoker, that you're out of breath. To find them, you can use mindfulness, the conscious recognition of what you're doing at any given moment. Mindfulness takes a little practice. You can start with the following exercise. Relax your body and sit comfortably in your favorite chair. Then give your focus to one thing, such as your breath. As you sit, be non-judgmental and open-hearted with yourself and compassionate towards your thoughts and feelings. This is the first step towards dropping your bad habits. As more mindful you are, the more aware you'll be of what you're doing, including your habitual actions. Another great approach is working on your self control. Self control is like a muscle, it strengthens through training. Merely trying to break a habit can help. When you get frustrated, bear in mind that we sometimes tend to overestimate our ability to control ourselves. Say you want to quit smoking. Just trying to stop will be good for your willpower. Once you know you can go 1 week without nicotine, for example, you can try going for 2. Here are some other basic ways to get your habits under control. Monitoring behavior by, say, keeping a food diary, distraction like chewing gum instead of smoking a cigarette, and changing your environment, for example, moving to a new non-smoking apartment. Final summary. The key message in this book is: habits play a huge role in our lives. With a little awareness of what habits actually are and a bit of practice in some straightforward psychological techniques, we can break free of our unhealthy habits and create ones that serve us. Actionable advice. Hack your diet. Try some of these tricks to make sure you stick to your diet. We tend to eat food that is close and visible, so put some fruit on the table instead of cake. Use smaller plates at meal times. Larger plates encourage you to eat more than you actually need. Try eating with your non-dominant hand. This slows you down and gives you a chance to register that you're getting full, so you don't automatically reach for more. This is the end. Thank you.